Hello there, welcome back to Planet Zoo and welcome back to Opal Zoo, our heavily themed zoo with our Australia, South America and aquatic areas so far, and you join me on episode 2 of our African themed area. So in the last episode we did our meerkat and Aldabra tortoise habitat over here. You can see them all plodding around, the tortoises going underground to their beds, and the meerkats are scampering all over the place. Everywhere you look you'll see a meerkat. So this habitat turned out pretty nicely, but today we're going to be focusing on this one in the middle here. Obviously I've just done a little bit of landscaping here. The border is temporary, the barrier, it's not going to be glass at all. There's 2 water areas. Made sure that there's a nice deep bit in here so the penguins can go diving, and the same over here. But there's also some shallow areas here for the foxes to go in, because this habitat is going to have fennec foxes and African penguins in. In fact, some of them are arriving right now. Look at this. Here we go. What do we got? Oh, we got a penguin and a fox, one of each. Look at that. Now as I'm recording this, if you remember the last episode, there were reasons why my recordings got delayed. So as I record this, I have already finished this entire African zone, so I know exactly what's coming. So I can kind of get a better idea of how to tell you about the habitat, if you see what I mean, because I know what it's going to look like in the end. Whereas sometimes when I do these recordings, obviously I do them as I go along, and I'm still building before I commentate, if that makes sense. So I kind of like doing it this way actually, so I know exactly what it's going to turn out like in the end. So I can tell you what I was doing here. Obviously just putting one of each of the animals into the habitat so I could tell their traversable areas and that kind of thing. So this is, again, it's quite a big habitat, this one, for the size of the animals. So if you look, that is a tiny little fox, and the penguin is pretty small as well. But I do put quite a few of both of them in the end, so it doesn't look too big. And there's going to be some quite serious rock work going on in this middle area here. I love how this habitat looks actually in the end. I think it's certainly the best habitat of the 3 that I do in this area. Certainly not the most spectacular, but it's I think it's the most all-rounded one that I'm happiest with. And I've just got to comment on these little fennec foxes, because they are just adorable, aren't they? I mean, look at those ears. Oh, beautiful little creatures. So, oh dear, just trying to get a close-up. There we go. Look at that. Wonderful creatures. In real life you barely ever see them. We do have some, where do we have them here? I'm in the UK, I'm in the southeast. I know they're in one of the zoos. Oh, Colchester Zoo. Yes, there is a zoo in Colchester, which is my favourite zoo that I've been to actually in the UK, and they have some of these fennec foxes. However, they're nocturnal creatures, so you really don't get to see them much in the zoo. Occasionally you'll see them at the back of the habitat asleep, and I have seen them getting around once or twice, because they have them in an indoors area, so all the lights are turned off during the day, so they do actually come out because they think it's night time. So I have seen them getting around, but it's quite a rare occurrence. But they are just so cute. They really are. They're wonderful little things. Anyway, you don't want to hear me prattle on about my zoo visits. You want to see me build stuff. So let me load up my next stop point in this habitat and see what I did next. Okay, so here you can see my my giant rock formation, and what I wanted to try and do here was to create not only 2 caves, but also make it so that the animals can climb up the top here and actually wander around up here. So that's what I did. As you can see, there are a lot more animals in here now. I've got, blimey, what have I got in here now? How many? 17 animals altogether. About half and half roughly. Oh no, actually no, hang on. There's a lot of penguins. You have to select the different animals, do you? Oh yeah, so there we go. So I've got 17 penguins and 10 foxes in here now. So yeah, plenty going on. So these rocks, I used these archways. I couldn't get the colour to match exactly with the archways and the rocks. It's kind of as close as I could get. I think it looks okay. You know, if you don't look too closely. And once I've got some foliage on here, I think it will blend together a bit better. So the idea was I wanted to create two caves. One for the penguins and one for the foxes. However, it doesn't quite work like that. Even because they use different bedding. So the penguins like to stand on these wooden boards, whereas the foxes will sleep on the hay or straw. Not sure what this is. Is it hay or straw? Doesn't say, just bedding. Probably hay. So I thought if I put the hay in this one and the planks in this one, they will, you know, the penguins will go in here and the foxes will go in here. Well, clearly that was never going to happen. It was wishful thinking on my part. They both go in both, but that's fine. I don't mind. I think it looks good anyway. I kind of liked this one. Looks more suitable to penguins because of the slope here leading straight into the water, and obviously it's the penguins that will go in the water the most. Actually, I don't think the foxes swim. I think they walk in this shallow bit. Let me just check. I'm not sure that they do swim. Actually, yeah, it says that they do. It says that they go right in there. And as you can see, they can go right up on these rocks as well, as in fact can the penguins. So if I highlight a penguin, you'll see that the penguins can also come up onto these rocks. And they do as well. I have seen both penguins and foxes up here. So that's pretty cool. And I will put some enrichment items on here as well, just to encourage them to go up there a bit more. Because it looks nice, doesn't it? Having the animals making full use of the habitat. I wanted this because in any habitat you've got to try and create sort of 3 dimensions. So when a habitat is relatively flat terrain wise, you've either got to go up or you've got to go down or you've got to do both. So in this case you've got some downwards where you've got the 2 water pools, and then I thought I wanted to go upwards as well, which was what I did with the rocks. Obviously I did something similar over here with the meerkats going down under the ground here, and there was a small amount of upwards using this bit here, but obviously nowhere near as much as I've done over here. I've also, now that you can change the colour of the water here, you can change its transparency. So I have made this much clearer water so you can really see the penguins darting around under the ground there. I think it looks much better when you can see into the water properly. Not sure what this penguin's doing. He appears to be stuck upside down. Well, you don't see that every day, do you? I'd say he's drowning. I feel like I need to move him. Poor guy. Come on, you move over there. Oh, that poor thing. There we go. Ooh, I feel like I saved the penguin's life. What is that? Akani. Well done, Akani. You are now safe. He's going to go straight back in there and do the same again, isn't he? Look at him. I want to die. I want to die. Oh, people have been in a box too long. I keep getting that warning. Never mind. There seems to be quite a lot of bugs in this park for some reason. I keep getting bugs with these penguins. I also keep getting bugs over here with the seals in this habitat. They keep getting put into boxes and then not released like that. I just have no idea why. It's quite mysterious. Never mind. It's a good job it's only a game, or I would have killed all the animals. Don't let me near a zoo. Ooh, not a real one. Blimey. Actually, that's not true. I love animals, and in real life I've grown up in basically a zoo. I've had so many pets in my life. I've had a bit of everything. Dogs, cats, ferrets, gerbils, guinea pigs, rabbits, birds, terrapins, tortoises, Hamsters, mice, rats, stick insects. I've had everything. I don't now. You know, I've moved out, and you know, those pets are no longer mine. But yeah, I grew up with them all, which is probably why I love games like this, because I'm a big fan of animals. I do believe that I get on better with animals than I do with humans, if I'm honest. I think that probably goes for quite a few people. Anyway, that's a debate for another day. Oh, look at that. Oh, so cute. So cute. Oh, look, this little guy's just waking up, having a little chill in his bed, and now he's probably going to go out for a run. Are you going somewhere? Go on, go for a run. Let us follow you. Where's he going? Is he going to go and dip in the water? No, he's just running. Breakfast time. Yummy, yummy. That does look quite appetizing, doesn't it? What do you reckon they've got in there? Oh, I don't want to know what that is, actually. No, I'll leave that to the foxes. Right then, let's crack on. So I will load up my next save point and see what I did next. Right, I've been busy with a bit of rock work. So I've continued the theme of using the glass barrier. I know I said I wasn't going to use glass, but actually at this stage I was. Now you have to bear with me, because I did do this quite a while ago. Actually, at the time of recording this commentary, this building was done a while ago, so my memory isn't great, but I'm pretty sure I do actually get rid of this glass in the end and replace it with a custom fence. But at this stage I was using the rocks in the same way, covering up the posts in the glass, using these archways to create sort of artificial viewing points for people to look through, and also doing extra rock work inside here. So here originally I had this as just a small slope coming down into the water, but it wasn't very accessible for the foxes, and it just looked a bit weird. So in the end I decided I wanted to create more of a rock wall on this side, and some extra pieces along here, just to create a pathway so that the animals didn't have to go in the water to get into this cave. And obviously I've done the similar thing on this side with some more rocks, just so it looks more solid, it looks more realistic. Obviously this would all be fake, but it looks a lot better than just having the bare earth, because that's just not realistic. And you've got the feeders obviously just down here, and look, again, another penguin that's got stuck. Very strange. Not sure what's causing that. Anyway, same over here, again, just a rock wall on each side here, trying to keep it looking natural, whereas at the same time, you know, we all know that it would be fake rock. But again, once I get some foliage on here, yeah, that will certainly make it look a bit better. And again, just surrounding this this staff entry point with some rocks as well. So at this stage it was coming together pretty nicely, actually. I mean, the basic structure of the habitat is there. I kind of like these archways. It kind of links it in with the two that I used over there, and yeah, the whole thing was looking pretty good, actually. I was pretty happy with it. So obviously there's still a load of foliage to go, and I have a few ideas for some. I wanted a more African feel to it. Just using rocks isn't enough to make an area look African. Obviously the foliage helps, but I kind of felt like this needed something else. Being in the middle of the area, really, this is kind of the central habitat in this zone, because you come in here and you just walk straight around it. In fact, you could do the full loop around it and then out again. It felt like this being in the center, it needed something in it to make it look and feel more African. So that was my next challenge, I think, or certainly at some point it was one of my challenges. But it was coming together really nice actually here. It's looking nice. Very pleased with it, obviously blending in nicely with this meerkat habitat as well, and the penguins and the foxes are certainly enjoying running around in it. So what did I do next? Good question. Let's find out, shall we? Part of the solution to my lack of African theming, I created these shelters that can stick out the side of the rocks, and I think they look pretty snazzy if I'm honest. So there's a couple around this side, and then you've got 3 more around this side as well, and I like them. They certainly make the whole theme come together a bit better. I also put some of these beads hanging in the archways. Again, they're a bit random, these beads, but when you're just trying to make an area seem African, it's a very simple thing that you can just dot around the place, and it certainly does the job. So those are in all of the archways, and I think they look pretty good. Oh, look at the little foxes. Yes, I also put some bedding up on here, on all 3 of these pieces here, just to encourage the foxes and the penguins, particularly the foxes, to come up and sleep up on the top here, which clearly works. So yeah, and I've also detailed with more of the small aquatic rocks. This piece here, it's my favourite piece in the game. It really is. It makes such a difference to an area, especially when you've got a lot of other bigger rocks. You can break it all up using these smaller ones all around these shallow water areas and around the larger rocks, just dotted all over the place, and it just, I don't know, it just finishes it off, doesn't it? It just looks so much better. Such a small thing, but just having these things dotted all around, it just really makes it look so much better, more detailed, more realistic, more complete. So yeah, very simple thing, but very effective, and certainly the result I think looks really nice. Obviously you still need a lot of greenery, which will go on last, but as a habitat it is coming together quite nicely now, I would say. Still the glass barriers at the moment, but they will be disappearing at some point. We'll have to see when. I'm not sure when. It might be my next saved game. I'm not sure. Until I load it up, I can't actually remember what stage I did different things. So we will have to see when I load it up. So yeah, let me do that now, and let's find out what I did next. Okay, so we had some big changes here, really. In this segment, as you can see, the glass barriers are gone, and I've made a custom fence, which I really like actually. It's just some of these African sticks, as you can see, just sunk into the ground, all sort of twisted around. You've got some of these nice smaller pieces as well, just a combination of all the different things just put together and then copy and pasted around the outside of the habitat, and it looks really nice. I love this. It's a piece that I should save as a blueprint and use elsewhere, I think, because it's a nice solid looking barrier for the right sort of creatures, of course. I mean, let's be honest, actually it probably isn't suitable for these foxes or the penguins because they might be able to just squeeze through, but I'm gonna forgive myself because I think it looks really nice. So that continues all the way around the habitat. I've also put in a couple of these boards. So these are the same boards that I used in the meerkat enclosure. So you've got one here for the foxes, and you've got one right around this side here for the penguins. And this is the stage at which I decided to come back to the meerkat habitat and make a few changes over here. Because I liked the fencing so much over there, I decided to use it here. So the glass has gone from the meerkat habitat, and it has been replaced by my custom fencing, which I think looks so much better, really does. And that's what I love about doing this. You just, as you go along, you might create something or discover something, and you go back and make changes, and you always come up with new ways of making all your habitats look good. You don't just forget about a habitat once it's done. If you come up with a good idea, you go back and you make changes. So the other change that I made to the meerkat habitat was what I described to you, I think, in the meerkat episode, where the tortoises were spending all their time underground, and they were moving too slowly to ever come upstairs, because they'd make it up to here and then realise they were tired and want to go back to bed, so they would go back down. So you never actually saw them above ground. So what I had to do was put this rock here, literally just one big rock sticking across here, which meant that the tortoises can't come down this way anymore, but the meerkats still can. So the tortoises no longer can go underground. What I also did was put more tortoises in. As you can see, there's quite a few of them up here. I think there's 8 tortoises in here now. But because I'd obviously closed off downstairs, I needed to build them a shelter. So that's what I did over in this corner, where I originally said I was going to build a shelter. So it's very simple, just a basic rock formation with some bedding. And the tortoises come in here and sleep. And it's perfect for them. They use it. Oh, look at this guy. He's given up. This dude has just thought, I can't make it to the bed. I'm just going to sleep on the pathway. And if a human kicks me, then he kicks me. They are so lazy, tortoises. We have a tortoise here at home, and she does exactly this. She will just be walking along perfectly happy and then just collapse on the floor and fall asleep. Doesn't matter where she is. You know, she could be in a ridiculous position. They just don't care. They just fall asleep where they are. Their legs just sort of flay out to the sides. Their heads lollop to the ground, and they fall asleep. And they could be there for the rest of the day. You know, tortoises can spend the entire day not moving. They'll be wide awake. They're funny creatures because they'll be wide awake and completely alert, but they won't move. And they will just stare at the world around them for hours and hours and hours. They don't seem to have any concept of time. They don't seem to have any concept of being bored. It's like they just, I don't know, they entertain themselves. They live in their own heads. I just don't know. It's fascinating. You know, if you tell a human to just sit down and stare at nothing for 8 hours, not many people could do that, but tortoises just don't seem to care. They just don't have that concept of entertainment or boredom. So, yeah, fascinating creatures. Anyway, sorry, I'm jabbering on again, aren't I? So that's what I've done to this habitat. So that, I believe that was the last change I made to the meerkat and tortoise habitat. And it definitely improved the area, because now you can actually enjoy the company of the tortoises when you go in and walk around. Regarding this habitat, as you can see, it really is coming together very nicely now. I was very happy with how it was looking. Obviously, it still needs foliage, which may be the last thing that I do. I will have to load up my next save game and see, but that I think this was pretty much how the habitat remained now. And it was just the foliage that needed to go in. So let me get the next stage loaded up and see whether that was the last stage or not. Well, here we go. This is the end of the habitat, and I had a lot of fun decorating this with various different foliages. So we've got some palm trees. I've got one of these lovely tall ones right in the middle here. I thought that looked pretty cool. I wanted a nice bit of height in here. 1 or 2 more scattered around as well. Just 2 umbrella trees. I can't build a habitat without umbrella trees. Actually, no, sorry, that one is in the meerkat enclosure. So yeah, just the 1 extra umbrella tree added in there. I put one of these mangrove apple trees up on the rocks here. I wanted something in here, and these things look great with these roots all coming out down the bottom here. And then the rest of it is just but the basic African plants. So you've got the cacti, the water stuff. I've got some of these lovely papyrus in here. Some of these, what are these ones called? Oh, the elephant grass. And then some of these little bits of moss in the water. Some ferns. No, that's not a fern, is it? It's an elephant ear plant. Of course it is. Scaevola bushes. These things are very multi-purpose. They look good in most situations actually, so you'll find them all over the place basically. And I love this stuff, this moss stuff. It looks really nice in amongst these aquatic rock formations. Really looks like it's just growing up from the cracks in the rocks. And these elephant grass, these look really nice in the water as well. So yeah, really simple, but again just very effective. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of doing these foliage details. It's pretty straightforward to make it look decent. Well, hopefully it looks decent anyway. And up on the top here again, just one or two. I didn't want to block any of the walkways or anything up here, so there's not a huge amount of foliage up here. Purposely wanted these trees here to be nice and tall so they create some shade up here for the animals to sleep in. So there we go, that is our second habitat of our Africa area done, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I don't know, what do you think? I think it looks good. I think it looks African-y. I know these palms aren't particularly African-y. They do come under the African tag, but they're not really the look I was going for. Obviously the look I was going for was more the sort of the savannah look rather than the African beach look, but the trees here, these palms, they're just too good to say no to, quite frankly. And I did want to sort of continue the theme from over here as well, just to keep that slight greenery theme coming along. So there, yeah, I went with it. It's fine. I think I've got enough African feel to the area that the odd palm tree you can get away with the beads and the wooden posts, and then these shade areas in the middle here as well. I think there's enough of an African feel to it. The palm trees don't take away from that. But I don't know. You're the experts. You let me know what you think. But I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with this whole habitat actually. I think it looks really nice. You can see here I've just put in the backstage buildings as well, just because I've got two habitats here. I didn't want the staff to have to walk too far, so you've got a vet's, a staff room and a keeper's hut in there. So that is going to be it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do let me know what you think of the fox and penguin habitat. Next episode we will be focusing on the huge habitat that I build around here with elephants, giraffe, zebra, rhino, and is it bongo, I think, possibly. Have I got that very wrong? Is it a bongo? I'm sure that's an animal, isn't it? A bongo? Yes, bongo. I think it's bongos that I put in here. I can't quite remember. We'll find out in the next episode. But for now, thank you very much for watching my video and joining me, spending a bit of your spare time with me. I do appreciate that you still put the effort in to watch my videos. You're obviously enjoying them as much as I am, I hope, and hopefully you can join me again in future episodes of this and my other zoos, because I have various zoos under construction at the moment. I also have a few other games that I play. I know those aren't as popular on the channel here. Not many people are watching my other games, but I'm going to keep playing them anyway because I enjoy playing them. I don't just put videos on to get views, believe it or not. I play these games because I just love playing them. And I share them, and if nobody watches them, then so be it. It's certainly not going to stop me playing them and posting them on here. But yeah, obviously if you do want to give some of my other videos a go, then please do. If not, then just keep watching the zoos. So until then, thanks again, and hopefully I will see you again very soon. So take care of yourselves.